So I'll tell you what I have here. I did go ahead and put together some things, kind of like what Monica told you about what I did with the fellow who was into skateboarding.
Okay.
So I can show you how math applies to a naturopathic doctor.
Okay.
Some algebra, some calculus, believe it or not. Calculus in naturopathic medicine. You may not think so, but got something. And statistics even.
Okay.
So I have that. So that's kind of one approach. And I mean, I think it really is a choice because some of these, I can show you how calculus has application in naturopathic medicine, but I would guess that would be more applicable if you ever wanted to do research in naturopathic medicine. If you strictly wanted to be a practitioner, there may be less call for it.
Okay.
But, I want to lay it all out. And the other thing that I'll throw out to you is this idea that there's some recent research about brain development. And everyone knows that, babies and kids up to a certain age, their brains are developing like crazy and developing all the synaptic connections. And until this recent research, they thought that's when all the connections were made, all the brain growth happens. And then the teenage years come along, and all the things that happen to teenagers, well, that's just hormones, just crazy teenagers, getting their hormones, Well, this more recent research involved PET scans and MRI scans of actually observing brain function while kids were doing different things. And what they found is what's actually happening during the teenage years is a new surge of creation of synaptic connections, followed by growing myelin sheaths around the nerves in the brain. And what that does, when the myelin sheath is there, that increases the efficiency and the speed of electrical transmission, so the brain works faster and more efficiently, but it also insulates the neurons so that it's harder to make new connections. Okay, so you take all that, so what's really happening during the teenage years? It's you're building the new connections and locking them in and freezing them. So whatever it is that you're doing during your teenage years, whatever areas of academic pursuit, whatever areas of the brain and types of endeavors you're exercising, gets wired into the brain and in fact locked in. So it's harder to build a skill later on. Well, you've heard people say, well, the time to learn, you want to learn Spanish and be able to travel the world and so forth. And I've read your blog.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow.
You've heard people say, well, the time to do that is when you're younger.
Right.
And they say, by the time you're 13, the easiest time to learn language was before then. Well, that's all part of locking in the neural connections and building the myelin sheaths. So I have this thought, I don't know if it's proven or not, that it's kind of a use it or lose it opportunity during your teenage years. If you're ever going to use math, it may not work as well to say, well, I'll put that off later, and if I want to go into research, I'll get those math texts back out. Well, all your myelin has been growing around the neurons, and it may not be as easy to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So I can show you how math will be used, but I'll also give you my general philosophy that I think it's good to exercise all different aspects of your brain that you might ever need.
Right. Okay.